Sacinandana. Jaya Jaya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve your Kindle instrument, or is it just with you? Is that? Can you please find Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila 4:74 to 78. 74 to 78. I'm sorry, I don't have it. Don't have. Who has everything? I'm seeing Premamodi, he is everything. Yeah, one is enough. Antya 4:74, 78, right? 74. Yes. Antya. Chaitanya Charitamrita. 17, okay. Antya, 4th chapter, 74 to 78. Today, my dear devotees, just stay here. When I need it, you can give me computer assistance. Today, my dear devotees, where we are discussing lessons from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, we will talk about Saranagati, or surrender. The moment we hear the word surrender, we tremble, we shake. Because the word surrender implies very clearly that not my plan should be followed or surrendered to, but I should act according to the will and wish of Krishna. So when we have often heard this in our spiritual life, when there is something difficult coming up, then we are encouraged, now you need to surrender. Huh? Have you heard this? And often it meant for us to do something unpleasant, something which we were not comfortable with. However, if we understand the word surrender in a proper way, we will see it is something really very, very attractive. The word surrender is made of 2 syllables. Sharana, that means shelter, and Gati, that means to move towards or to go in the direction of shelter. I lived for a long time in Golokadam, in the midst of the forest, really. It's a beautiful project. And I would often go for japa walks through the forest. And equally often I was surprised by very heavy and quick rain showers. They were not a little rain, but it really comes down. It rains as if pillars are coming down from the sky. And I remember in the midst of the forest there was a little shelter, a rain shelter. And in order to avoid becoming drenched with water and then catching a cold, I would at certain times run and go to this shelter. The idea of taking shelter is very, very similar. You escape the miseries or the rain of miseries in the material world if you move towards shelter. That's the idea of Saranagati. And there is an amazing example which I have told in England and other places, in which I wish to repeat here because it's so thought-provoking. It's about it's really about a rabbit. How do we say rabbit? The jets. Zets. Yeah, that's it. It really moves like a zet. Zets. The zets. So the zets. Once, a great devotee and disciple of Srila Ramanujacharya walked with his other disciples through a dense forest. All of a sudden they saw a hunter coming out of the underbrush. He had a very blackish complexion, and he was very confused. His eyes were rolling in his sockets and he was not able to speak clearly. So the disciples of Ramanujacharya, of this great saint, they got him and they slapped him into the faces. Hey, hey, hey! What happened to you? And the hunter looked. Yes, something happened to me, he said. And I don't know what to make of it. I walked through the forest, hunting, and I aimed my deadly arrow at a zich. And the zich, the rabbit, saw that the arrow was aimed at its heart, and that I would take the life I would take its life. He did something totally unexpected, which bewildered me. What did the sage do? Well, the sage ran towards me. It circumambulated me, that means it ran 3 times around me, and then, in a gesture of utter surrender and humility, the rabbit put its head on my feet, asking for life. I was there with my arrow. The bow was tense, was drawn, and I was thinking, what to do now with the rabbit? Should I shoot it, or should I not shoot it? Should I save the life. And at that moment, the rabbit looked in my face. It had its head already on my feet, and I could not bring it over my heart to kill it. It had taken shelter at me, and I therefore decided, let the rabbit live. And I took my bow, said, "Ready," and left the place. So when this great devotee who was there and heard the story, heard this, he fainted. And he came up again, he sat up and he said, "Oh Krishna," and fainted a second time. Then he came up again and again said, "Oh Narayan," and fainted a third time. Finally, the devotee sprinkled some water over his face, and they asked him, "Why are you so moved?" And the devotee said, "I am so unfortunate. I have read so often how Krishna says, by taking shelter at his lotus feet, he is ready, if someone takes shelter at his lotus feet, he's ready to forgive all the karmic reactions. He takes the karmic reactions away. But I have not been able to surrender. I have avoided to surrender up till now." Here we find the rabbit who has not read the Bhagavad Gita. It knows I have no other chance to live than by putting my head at the feet of this hunter. It is natural for someone who recognizes he's in danger to take shelter. And on the other hand, he is this hunter. He lives by killing animals. He has no intention to save the life of any animal. However, this rabbit, this lich, who has come and taken shelter, is given so naturally shelter by the hunter. He doesn't think, should I kill him or not? It's clear for him. So the process of surrender is so natural. Here I am surrounded by the horrible material existence and by the ocean of and by death. I know from the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna will give me shelter, and Krishna is the Supreme Lord who for sure will fulfill his word. But still, I am hesitating. After he said this, he fell down again and fainted a fourth time. Can you follow? It is so natural to take shelter. And it is so natural for Krishna to give shelter. Ali, or Midyutam, we are waiting, we are hesitating, we are not willing to take shelter. This is unfortunate. What do you think? Toito? That is the situation. That is the situation. So, why are we hesitating to take shelter? We are not trusting Krishna so much that he can give shelter. Our faith in Krishna is very slabby, very weak. It is beginning. It is just now beginning. So it is very good if we hear how other devotees took shelter and what was their experience. Because by learning from real devotees who have really taken shelter, by learning from them the details of taking shelter, everything will it will be much easier. Well, I would like to talk to you about Sanatan, who took shelter. I do not have at this moment the time to give you the whole background of Sanatan, but this is enough. He was a very high-placed Muslim and high-placed minister, I wanted to say, under the government, the Islamic government of Gora. Gora is part, Gora Desh, it's, part of what is now Bengal. And he was very close to the ruler, to the king. In fact, by his intelligence, he had made the king the most successful king of the times. He was a very, very high-placed person. So Sanatan did not like to continue working for a Lord and Master who was regularly making campaigns, armed campaigns or military campaigns to break temples, to break deities and so on. And he really wanted to escape this. He did so. It's a very amazing story how he managed to escape his position as the minister. He was first thrown into a jail, a terrible jail where you would not be able to escape alive, but he made a very fantastic escape, which I will tell you about at another time. After his escape, he lived for one entire year in the forests of Vrindavan. He was making parikrams there, and he was relishing the atmosphere of Vrindavan. And then he heard that his brother, who is his brother? Rupa. He was in Puri, and he desired to see his brother and go to Puri. And on his way to Puri, something very important happened to our narration. When he crossed the forest of Jarikanda, it was in central India, he drank for many days bad jungle water. It was infested, but there was no other water to nourish him. And as a result, he developed a terrible illness which is called as weeping sores. What this means is that all over the body, his body, were open wounds, and a liquid oozed out, dripped out of it. It was extremely painful and extremely, very difficult to take care. He could not dress in any cloth. They would become wet immediately and slimy and full of pus. And he felt very bad. He said, I gave up my ministerial job. Now I'm a monk, but I'm so sick I could die at any moment, and I cannot serve the Lord with this body. So what he did is, he went to Jagannath Puri and secretly, without telling anyone, he decided to commit suicide. He said, in his mind, he said, the ideal place to give up this useless body is Puri, and the ideal time is the Ratha Yatra celebration. He made the plan to jump before the rolling wheels, the huge, heavy wheels, so that they would break his spine and in this way take his life. Hare Krishna. He thought this body cannot serve Krishna, therefore suicide is the best recourse. I will just give up my body. But he did not talk about this to anyone. When he arrived in Puri, he had heard, he knew Haridas Thakur, he had seen him once, and he asked, where is Haridas Thakur? People showed him to a hut under a tree, the Siddha Bakul tree. Manu and Gaur Krishna will make a pilgrimage, most probably this year, to see the Siddha Bakul tree. It's a tree which has attained perfection, because who was this? Because it had heard how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant the Mahamantra. This is an amazing tree, and I have a set of beads made from the wood of one of the branches of the tree, which was separated from the tree in one orkan. Orkan means terrible storm. And people showed him to Haridas Thakur, who was sitting under this tree and chanting, I always forget it, 176 rounds each day. 176. If you think chanting 16 rounds is an achievement, then you should see Haridas Thakur. So, when Haridas Thakur saw him, he was very happy. He knew Sanatan was such a great devotee that he was like a crystal clear lake with wonderful fresh water, which was covered by some moss. In other words, it was not obvious, it was not easily visible that Sanatan was such a great devotee, because he was dressed only in one piece of cloth, and he was otherwise only having one pot of water, and he was very, very renounced and very skinny looking. So he was like a lake of crystal clear water which can nourish the whole world, but which was covered with moss. Moss means this green algae, and so on. It was not visible. So when Haridas Thakur received him, there was all of a sudden some noise in the distance. Krishna, what was it? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna devotees had just met Sanatan and Haridas. And Haridas was so happy when all of a sudden they heard this kirtan. It could have been this melody. And Haridas became all excited and said, every day at around 12 o'clock, Gauranga Mahaprabhu comes by me to see how I am doing. He greets me, and afterwards he goes to the ocean to do his noon duties. Noon duties means bathroom activities and then a bath in the sea. So sure enough, the Sankirtan party around Gauranga Mahaprabhu came, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, tall, 2 meter 10 is his size, with golden complexion, comes in, and Sanatan immediately pays his obeisances. Full Dondavot Parikrama. And Haridas Thakur informed the Lord, my dear Lord, see who has come from Vrindavan, Sanatan. Oh, said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he went to Sanatan, who was still on the floor, and started to take him and rise him. Sanatan said, no, no, my Lord, Moitelo, my body is not fit to be touched by you. You will only get dirty. But Gauranga Mahaprabhu took him up and embraced him. And as he embraced Sanatan with all these weeping sores, Sanatan felt very, very unhappy. Then Gauranga Mahaprabhu went after some time, and he sent Mahaprasad from Lord Jagannath, from Lord Jagannath. He sent it to Haridas and Sanatan. So the two great devotees talked. They talked also how unpleasant the Sanatan felt. And then after some time, they stopped talking and chanted. Next day, again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Sanatan had not told anyone about the plan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately addressed him, give up this idea of suicide. Only bhakti and not suicide can bring you to Krishna. Sanatan, from where does the Lord know that I had this plan? He said, my Lord, you are omniscient. You know everything. You are merciful. You're independent. Exactly like an instrument of wood, I dance as you make me do so. And then he said something else. I'm low-born. Indeed, I'm the lowest. I am condemned, for I have all the characteristics of a sinful man. If you keep me alive, what will be the profit? I shall die. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answered, Denupalaka, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. No, sorry. That is something Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, your body is my property. You have already surrendered unto me. Therefore, you no longer have any claim to your body. Lord Chaitanya said, this is my property. Your body you cannot take away. Why should you want to destroy another's property? No, it's almost as if we go to Gaur Krishna's Veena harmonium and jump on it. Why should we do this? Why? So Lord Chaitanya said, why should you destroy your body which belongs to you? Can't you consider what is right and what is wrong? Your body is my principal instrument, my main instrument for executing many necessary functions. By your body I shall carry out many tasks. Thank you very much. So he says, just like we may have a hammer, or we may wind a stay with a harmonium, we may have a harmonium by which we make many nice melodies and kirtans. We will go today to the Exit Festival and we have a stage there and we will make many nice kirtans with this instrument, the harmonium. So in the same way, Lord Chaitanya says, I will make many nice things through your body. That is my instrument. That's my harmonium, so to say. And he says, I shall preach Bhakti Tattva, the knowledge about Bhakti, through your body. I shall introduce Vaishnava practices through your body. I shall restore all the holy places through your body. And I will make temples with deities all through you. And then he said, I can't do all this. My mother, Sachi, has ordered me to sit here in Puri and not leave Puri. So I need you. I will send you to Vrindavan. And there you will write Bhakti scriptures. There you will write the book which tells us how to execute Bhakti in practical life. Who knows this book which Saranagati Swami wrote? Hari Bhakti Vilas, yes. There you will find everything. How to worship the deities, how to do Vaishnava Pranayama, you will find in there. You will find how to meditate about Krishna. You will find there how to chant the holy name. Everything is to be found there. And I will work through you, and in this way Vrindavan Dham will have many places. And through you I will make many temples. Do you know one temple which Saranagati Swami has founded? I think you all know. Shri Radha Madan Mohan, on this beautiful hill overlooking the Vrindavan and the Jamuna. So this I will do through you. I need you. You are my instrument. Don't destroy your instrument. This, my dear devotees, reminds, this is, Lord Chaitanya, in other words, let me be very clear, asks for surrender. He asked that Sanatan surrenders his body, his mind, and intelligence in his service. And he says, you have already surrendered to me. You have taken initiation from me. Now, don't belong to yourself any longer. You belong to me. I think very much when I read about this, about another very surrendered soul. His name is Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He went to America, and in his arrival prayer, when he saw for the first time the the silhouette. How do we say silhouette? Silhouette. Yeah. When he saw the silhouette of Boston Harbor, he took a pen and he wrote these words. He wrote, "My dear Lord, you have brought me here, but how will I make these Americans understand the message of Krishna consciousness? I am very very unfortunate, I'm sorry, and I'm very unqualified and the most fallen. Therefore, I'm looking for your blessings so that I can convince them for I am powerless to do so on my own. And then he says this beautiful verse, O Lord, I'm just like a puppet. In your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance. Oh Lord, make me dance. As you like. This is surrender. Here I am. I'm a puppet. You are the puppeteer. You move the strings. And then everything will work. Later, in the year 1966, so 4 years later, Srila Prabhupada sat in his room in America. There were temples and there were books which had been printed. He was a very good instrument in Krishna's hand. And he had a visitor, a guest, who wanted to know one thing. May I ask you one thing? Yes. How come you choose America as your first Western country? Prabhupada then answers. Just hear the words of a surrendered soul. My Guru Maharaj ordered me, you go there and preach this cult amongst the English-speaking public, especially in the Western countries. You know, this divine order came to Srila Prabhupada already in the first meeting. Srila Prabhupada was just coming up from his obeisances to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur looked at him and said, I order you to go to the Western countries and spread Krishna consciousness. Wow! It took him many years, he says, but then he was ready and he went. And Prabhupada says very sympathetic, first I thought I will go to London. Where is London, I thought. But I had no money. So I went for free on a steamship. And this steamship went to New York City, not to London. So I accepted. All right, we can see what we can do in New York. Either go to London or New York. Who cares? New York is actually a better place, he said. So you can see, Prabhupada is surrendered like a puppet is surrendered. A puppet doesn't make plan, okay, our next show is in Novi Sad. No. He waits when the puppet master comes and takes the puppet, and he may do the next show in New York City. So this was in a room conversation. And then Prabhupada speaks how he started this movement and see how much the consciousness of a surrendered instrument is here. Now, so I rented a storefront and an apartment at 26th 2nd Avenue for $200 a month. But I had no source of income. I started my classes, and sometimes on Sundays I used to chant the Hare Krishna mantra in Tompkins Square Park from 3 to 5 p.m. So we know now, 3 to 5 p.m. During this time, all the young boys and girls used to gather around me. And then he said, in this way we started our International Society String Band. I like this very much, the string band. We say puppet on a string. How do we say this in this local language? No, marionetta is a Sastrinsky. A puppet on a string?
Yes.
Lukana Konsu. He said this is the international Lukana Konsu band. What a poetic expression for... Maybe we should start like the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Everyone has heard this, but this is no International Society string band. Govinda's brother's sleep is just 10 centimeters away from you. I saw him coming. So Prabhupada tells us that join this international string band, this puppet on the string band. I find this subject matter of taking orders from Krishna so inspiring that I have also tried to become a devotee of Krishna and become an instrument in the hands of the spiritual master. And I have seen really, when I act as an instrument, nothing is impossible. Nothing. Because there is divine blessings behind such an order. I want to encourage all of you, young, old, enthusiastic and skeptical, whatever you are, wherever you are in your spiritual life at the moment, try to find a mission which is divinely blessed. Try to find a mission where you are an instrument. It was very interesting. Lord Chaitanya would visit Sanatan again and again, and each day he would embrace him. And each day Sanatan was very, very sad. Then one day Lord Chaitanya said, the body of a Vaishnava is never mundane. It is fully spiritual, full of knowledge and bliss. The moment a devotee surrenders himself at the feet of his spiritual master, at the time of initiation, see Krishna accepts such a surrendered soul and transforms his body into a spiritual body like that of himself. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that Sanatan accepted the order of the Lord to become his instrument, he one day came and embraced him. Sanatan said, oh no, oh no. Then Lord Chaitanya let him go out of his embrace, and Sanatan's body was free from all the defects of the disease. The wounds had closed. The terrible smell which came from the wound now he was smelling like musk, sandalwood, aguru and camphor. Very, very, very refreshing. So this is the very, very wonderful story of a surrendered soul who executed the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu due to the Goswamis, my dear devotees. Vrindavan is now what Vrindavan is. They found all the places where the temple are. Sanatan would sit on the hill of in a little hut. What he ate was a little wheat which he had crushed And then he had put a little, how do you say this, little water in it. And then he had put this little bread, it's little like this, like a wild apple. He had put that on the stones of a fire. The stones were still hot. And this is how he baked his little bread. They were not proper chapatis, they were just hard bread. When you would bite in such a bread, I've done this, then you need to go to a dentist afterwards, they're so hard. And one day, Sanatan worshipped with this bread a deity of Madan Mohan, which he kept standing in a tree. And one day the deity said, "This bread is boring. It's so boring. Every time the same. Add at least a little salt, please." Sanatan said, "Now you're asking for salt? Then ghee. Then next thing is sabji. Then sweet rice." I am a simple ask renunciant. If you don't like my food, you may go somewhere else. That Madan Mohan was silent for a few days. And then he said, "It's so boring. So boring, like a little boy." "Then if you want something, little salt, you can arrange," said Sanatan. "And now don't talk, I need to charge." This is love, if you talk like this, you will be, this is an offense. But if Sanatan, full of love, talks like this, good. Mother can talk like this, and father can talk like this to the children. No? You now stop. Don't talk. Don't talk. Don't talk. Don't talk. So this was the arrangement. The next day Madan Mohan made an arrangement. Down the Yamuna came a boat full of salt. It was a merchant, salt merchant, who wanted to sell his salt in Mathura. But just at the place where Sanatan was, this huge boat with salt ran on a sandbank and was stuck. So the sea people, the people who were rowing the boat or sailing with the boat came up and saw Sanatan and said, "Sorry, Baba, can you help us to get our boat free?" "What? I'm chanting and I'm a little old. How will I do this? But you go inside, you go there and to the tree. There is this little boy, restless boy. He needs anyway something to do. Just ask him to come." So they saw the deity in the tree. They said, "Okay, goodbye." And they went down, and then, by the blessings of Madan Mohan, when they came down, the boat was not happily, it was floating. It was swimming on the water. So the salt merchant understood it was stuck on the sandbank. Now it's floating. This is the blessing of the sadhu. And he said, "Okay, he came back and said, I sell my salt in Mathura, and when I come back, I will give you a good donation to build a proper temple for your Thakur, for your deity." Sanatan said, "Why don't you leave a little salt here? He wants a little salt." So the merchant gave a little salt, went down to Mathura, a town where there was a lot of trade happening and sold all the salt for a huge profit. And then he came back to the saint, to Sanatan, as he had promised. And he delivered a big donation from which the Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan temple was built. Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai! Yes, this is how the Sanatan was the instrument of the Lord. The Lord arranged everything and kept him as his instrument. That is very, very visible. That's very clear. That's very, very obvious. And in this way, a beautiful temple was built for Madan Mohan, and eventually some cooks and enough salt came and other things. I wanted to just say, when you actually approach the Lord for shelter, what could that mean in your practical life now? I mean, when you leave the temple, or the room here, or the room, and you want to practice shelter at Krishna's lotus feet, what could you do to take more shelter? What I want to do now is, I want you to build groups of two. You can sit, quickly find someone, your neighbor. Please all participate. I know some of us are not used to use their brain for spiritual things. No problem, today you can do it. No? And you can discuss. Find a neighbor. Just someone who's next to you. You can also go by three. Hari, you found a neighbor? Good. Amarananda, you found a neighbor? Oh, everything comes by Krishna's arrangement. You have found a neighbor? Saraswati, neighbors there? Jai Gopi? Some of you, neighbor? Now comes the question which I request you to discuss with your neighbor. What could you practically do, Satya Govinda? You found a neighbor? With who? Ah, here, good. What could you practically do in order to take more shelter of Krishna? The question is clear? Madhyaji, not saying I'm already doing 100 things. What could you practically do to take more shelter of Krishna? Think of the story of the sage, the rabbit, and so on. I think you, Bali, what can you do to find more shelter? And let the other also talk, not just one person. Start now. Concrete now, okay? Concrete now. No? So did you find it helpful?
Yes.
Did you find something? Yes? Next step? Huh? It can be a small step, but you will see each little step on the road of surrender or moving forward to take shelter is really very, very powerful. I always think of the example of Vibhisan, the brother of Ravan. At the beginning of creation, Ravan, there were 4 siblings who were asking the Creator for blessings. Ravan, wanted to become so powerful that the whole universe would cry just thinking of him. Vibhisan, the brother of Ravan, had another plan. Sopanak, the sister of Ravan, was a lady like very much external shape and appearance. So she wanted to become a shapeshifter. You know what that is? She could change her form just when she desired it. She could walk and then let me be an eagle. She could fly, or if she desired, let me become a tigress. She was a tigress. That is a great ability to shape your form. And Brahma said, Tatastu. Kumbhakarna thought, my older brother wants to be so powerful that he can terrorize the whole universe. And he wanted to also ask for the same thing, but the goddess of Saraswati came in and there was a Sanskrit mispronunciation, so that Kumbhakarna said something that made me sleep, and then from that time he sleeps 6 months out of a year, non-stop, and then gets up, but he's very strong. So Vibhisan saw, my God, one brother wants to sleep, the other wants to shape the form, my sister, my older brother wants to terrorize the universe. This is not a good family. And he desired, I want to become a devotee of the Lord. All the desires were granted, and Vibhisan saw so many atrocities. Do you know what is an atrocity? It means real bad things which Ravan did. He was a witness to all of this, and but he stayed with Ravan in that bad association. He always thought, I should surrender, I should surrender, I want to become a devotee. But he was not yet able to do that. But he never gave up that idea. He never gave up this desire. He never gave up this plan that I want to become a devotee. So when he saw that Ravan kidnapped Sita, the best of all beings, the personal consort of Lord Ram, he said, Ravan, you must give her back. If you steal the wife of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there will be only misfortune. Ravan said, how do you dare to say this, you traitor? Traitor means you rascal. I want to never see your face again. Go. If you are not out of here within a few hours, I will have you publicly executed. You will be bound to a place, and meat-eating Rakshasa will eat your entrails, means stomach and intestines while you are alive and you have seen it. Go out. So Bibhisara left the palace, and the moment he left that bad company of his older brother, the company which had kept him from surrendering, he felt so light, he was floating over the ground. This will happen to each one of you the moment you make your steps of surrender. You feel so relieved. You will walk across the ground. Oh Maharaj, that's only possible when I go to my marriage. Then I will walk across the ground. No. When you surrender, make your first steps of surrender, immediately you feel relieved. Immediately. So he then went to Lord Ram, and he became one of the most important advisors of Ram in the upcoming confrontation between Ravan and Ram, where Ram ultimately defeated Ravan and took back Sita. But this idea of surrendering is not gruesome. It is not difficult. You just have to, please note this word, make appropriate steps of surrender. What Premamurti will do will be different from what Govindanandan will do. What Govindanandan will do will be different from what Ajya does. What Ajya does will be different from what any one of you, Madhayanti, does. But you should all leave the Samba camp with a clear idea. What is your next step on the path of Saranagati? What is your next step? Velika concretno. Not I will become a pure devotee. Something. I will give up cappuccino. Let's start. I'm speaking in local terms. No? Our devotees here need some Saranagati. And it will help you so much, my devotees. I wish you all the best on this road. I'm sorry, we need your blessings. We have a program today in a late program. So we will just end this program by some kirtan. Yes? Thank you. Your personal creation. Thank you. It will only be 5 minutes.
Hare
Hare Krishna. The lesson which we understood, or the lesson from today's Katha was Saranagati, approaching the Lord as our shelter. Approaching means to move towards. It doesn't mean a goal, it means an intention. It means some steps in the right direction. In order to practice surrender, there's one little tiny advice I would like to give to you. See, what could be an obstacle? Obstacle? Paprika. Yes, paprika. Something like this, an obstacle. And see if you can remove the obstacle. But don't make your first step or the other steps dependent on whether you can remove the obstacle. Start anyways. Do it anyways. There is an Arabic proverb. It says, it's not the long journey in front of me which is discouraging. It's the little stone in my shoe which wears me down. You understand, no? Yes, we may have a long journey before us, but if we have our paprika, our obstacle, then it might be difficult. So think a little bit about how to remove the obstacle. But on the other hand, start with small steps on the beautiful road of Saranagati. When Sanatan was ready, the Lord worked miracles through him. He wrote the Bhakti scriptures, which we still read. He wrote a commentary on the Bhagavatam. He wrote the book Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Hari Bhakti Vilas. Wow. Where would we be without Sanatana Goswami's different instructions? So you would please, by and by, read these and follow this. I'm a little bit late, so please allow me. I cannot talk to any one of you now, but tomorrow, Saturday, all day I'm here. So we see each other. Then I need to do my step of surrender today, preaching and late in the night to totally new people, but it will be wonderful, no problem. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki, Sasi Gaura Nitaya ki, Gaura Premanandi.